Thanks for joining me on my business journey from $2 to $20 million a year. And in my last episode, I shared my company vision for the next 3 years, all of the details, every single thing that we're looking to accomplish. And so if you want to know where we're headed, go ahead and go back and take a look at that episode. Today, I'm going to talk about core values and why they're critical into building a team, and also how to communicate those core values. Also, towards the end of the episode, I'm going to share some of the progress that we're having as a company and where we're headed towards accomplishing some of our goals. And I'm also going to have a discussion question that's going to be available to participate in with social media, because one of the goals of this podcast is to get people engaged and get them thinking critically about some key areas of your business. Now, I'm going to start by saying do we even have core values? I know you see a lot of companies, they have core values. I remember when I was in the military, they would give us a piece of paper that had core values. But why is it so important that we do this? I found that the companies that go to the next level, all of them do have key values, and along with those values, a mission, which I talked about in the last episode of our vision and mission. And the very first part of that was values. But I want to dive in deep so that you have an understanding of why those values are so important and why you really should have them. So the first thing is that core values help companies in the decision-making process. Because when you're planning and you're trying to think about what it is you're trying to accomplish, if you know some key things about what you stand for, then it will help you make those decisions. Like, for example, I'm in a financial industry as far as financial education and publishing. And it can be very simple to do things just for profit, right? Like, we have an opportunity, hey, let's sell this thing real quick. We could make a bunch of money. Let's do it, right? And so then when we look at our core values, we say, okay, wait, yes, it would be an easy path to some quick money, but does that really stand in line with what we're trying to do? And trust me, I've made that mistake plenty of times. And now that I'm trying to get to the next level, that I'm trying to grow, I'm looking at our core values and our mission. I'm saying, okay, not going to do that. So it helps me make quality decisions and helps me avoid some mistakes that I've made in the past that cost me from the growth. Right? And so as we grow as people and as leaders, we're not going to make those same mistakes over and over again, or hopefully we don't. And that's going to, in turn, going to help our company grow. First thing, core values help companies in the decision-making process. The next thing is core values also educate clients and potential customers about what the company is about and helps clarify the identity of the company. We truly have a mission to help people in their finances, to help them with their financial education, make good financial decisions in trading, help them learn how to trade, right? Well, we want the right kind of clients. So if we have our core values and they're clear, then it will help us get the right kind of clients. We can communicate that we're here for the long term. We're here to help people make good decisions. We're about integrity and honesty. We're not about making a quick buck. Well, then we're going to attract the right kind of people, because I have found over the course of years in business that having the right clients is very important. We want to provide a great service, but some people just don't fit as clients, right? And so having these core values really help you in getting the right type of client. Helps the company build an identity. Core values are also a great recruiting and retention tools. When people look at us, they're like, oh, this company has great values. That's in line with what I'm trying to do. It also helps people stay on board, right? So it helps us recruit people. And it helps us people stay on board, because they're like, okay, I love working at this company because they stand up for something. Their goals and their values are in alignment with my own personal. And that's one of the foundations for building a strong team. Core values also help us get the right people. So someone that doesn't line up with us, they look at those values and they might think, well, that's not really me. And when it helps us make hiring decisions, when we're going through interview processes, we're saying, hey, that value isn't really a good fit. And as a matter of fact, the values is more important to me as the leader of the company than talent. If you're talented and skilled and you don't have the values that we're looking for or the character as a person, then we're going to pass. We're going to go on to somebody else, even if that person has less talent. Because if you get someone that does not line up with your values, then it's a train wreck. It could be a train wreck. They could undermine the company. They could undermine the team. It just could end up very badly. And so having these core values is really critical for helping you get the right team members. Now, another thing about core values that I think is really important. So I just answered the why, but now I want to talk about the how. Because just having a list of core values on a piece of paper doesn't really help a whole lot. I remember, again, when I was in the military, we had core values on a paper, and no one really talked about them. I didn't know what it meant. I had no idea. And so to me, it was just like something to throw in the garbage because it's like, what is this? You know, and I to this day, I haven't been in the military in 15 years, but to this day, I don't remember what they were. Maybe they're still the same. Maybe they've changed. I don't know, but I don't remember what they were because it really didn't impact me a whole lot at the time. Didn't really mean anything to me, right? And so as a leader, I want this to be something that's important to my people. Okay, and so how do I do that? Well, for one, I think it's important to define what they mean. Okay, and so I'm going to do that in this episode. I'm going to define what our core values are. So I think it's important to define them, how they fit in the context of our business, and how it applies to each person in our organization. So I'm not just going to read it out. Hey, here's the core values. Check. I got it off the list. No, in order for them to really be valuable, you have to live it. And another thing is with your team, you just spend time with your team. I'm a small company. I don't have 1,000 or 1 million or 100 employees. I've got 6 core people in the office. And so I'm going to spend time with them weekly, hang out with them, get to know them, spend time in meetings with them, and then talk about the values, talk about what they mean when we're together. They can see me. You know, people see how you lead by your lifestyle and by your actions, not by what you say. And so when I say that integrity is one of our most important values, I have to live that out every day because they're watching me, right? They're seeing it. They're saying, oh, well, he says it's integrity, but he just did that, and so he doesn't really believe it, right? So I have to really align with my own core values. So when you're planning your core values as a company leader, make sure that you can live them out. And if you don't live them out, at least then immediately tell everyone that you fell short. Hey, I fell short in the core values. I made a big mistake. I'm going to get back on track, right? So then they can understand you're human. I mean, hey, we all make mistakes, but own it and get back on track. These core values are not just a checklist to help you grow your company. We want to develop the team. So my vision is to develop the team, and then as they're growing, I'm going to be working with, I want to get around 7 people. I want to add 1 more because I think that's probably the most that I can personally handle right now to really go in and develop to be strong leaders. But then I want them, and not everyone is going to be a leader, but some of them will rise up to be leaders, and then they in turn can have 7 people who they train and share the values and communicate those values. And so then we're growing and the values are still very strong with the strong leaders who can then pass down to the other team members. It's not a rapid growth style. It's not, hire 10,000 people in a week and become a $1 billion company. If I take off at that point, I'll have to make a decision on how I'm going to communicate those values to a large group size. I feel like to get the values really critical, you've got to build a solid foundation. You have to really take your time with the people so that they can understand it, they can hear it, they can see you living it. You just can't teach that by giving them a piece of paper. You have to really spend time with people and define it, and they have to see you living it. And so with our company, we have 3 core values, 3 main ones, and it's integrity, teamwork, dedication. And integrity has 3 parts. It's integrity, honesty, transparency. And really what that means is doing what's right in your own personal life when no one is looking. If I'm not there to see what's going on, if somebody else isn't there, it's doing the right thing. And that means telling the truth all the time, telling the truth in all of our individual communications with each other, with our communications with our vendors, with our communications with our clients, telling the truth and having transparency with each other, even when it's uncomfortable. So I think definition is really important. And I have a couple examples in my life of where this has been a challenge for me. And fortunately, I was able to do the right thing. And I feel like it's because I've had these laid out ahead of time. Sometimes when you're tested, if you don't know what you're going to do before the test comes, you're going to fail the test. So take the time to plan it ahead of time. Well, one of them was I was doing a deal with a vendor, and that vendor, we were talking about sales numbers, and that particular vendor said, "Hey, our sales weren't too good." And I said, "Yeah, I know, it was disappointing." And in order to bring on additional partners, the vendor suggested, "Hey, maybe we could just exaggerate our numbers, and they'll never know." And so I got to admit, for the first 10 seconds, I was thinking, my brain moves a little slow, was thinking, would that work? But then I immediately cut him off and said, "No, we can't do that." Right? And so I stood up, I spoke, I said, "No, here's why. Because I have to have integrity and honesty in all my dealings." And so that worked. And it helped me out, helped me make a good decision. Another area is the transparency, even when it's ugly or uncomfortable. And so what I mean by that is sometimes there are some people who love to be critical and they love to complain about everything. You can give a great speech or do something amazing, and you'll have 99 points of victory, and they'll come in and they'll say, "Well, point 97 wasn't really very good." They just love to burst your bubble, and those people, I'm trying not to attract those kind of people because they just complain about everything. But I'm talking about speaking honesty when you really have a disagreement, or because you care about the team and because you care about the person, not just because you're the type of guy to complain about everything or girl, but the type of person that is willing to speak up even when it's a little bit uncomfortable, right? One friend of mine always says the ability to speak the last 10%, because sometimes there might be this thing that's on your mind and you just are a little afraid to confront them. Listen, it takes courage sometimes to speak your mind, especially when you're dealing with your boss, right? So I want my people to be able to communicate honestly to me, transparently. If I'm being an idiot, I need them to tell me in a nice way, right? And I know sometimes that's not comfortable for them to do so, and it can be difficult. It takes courage to speak your mind. I remember one time I was in a group, and it was a leadership group for a church, and everybody was in agreement with something except for me. And it was difficult for me to speak my mind. I didn't really want to do it, but I felt like I had to. And I want people that are willing to speak their mind. If the whole team is like, yes, 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 and then one person says no, I want to hear about it. And I want us to have an honest discussion. And it can be ugly, and we might disagree. We might even get a little bit upset. But at the end of the day, we're on the same mission. We're on the same team. We care about each other. And I want to know truth and transparency. It's really important for us to make good decisions and to progress as a company. The other one is teamwork. And really what that means for us is that we just put the needs of each other as a top priority, right? And that we are not trying to be glory hogs and do all the work ourselves, but understand that everybody has giftings, everybody has different talents. And so we want to use those to complement each other to build a great team. And part of the things that's really important with teamwork is unity and caring about each other. If you have unity, then you're willing to overlook some flaws, because we all have flaws. And your coworker might be really annoying, and I'm sure I'm really annoying, and we're all really annoying. I know I'm really annoying, but I need you to be willing to put that aside so that we can have unity and work together as a team. And it's just important that we can put aside some of those things and focus on the main mission, which in our case is making our customers successful, making them truly valuable services and products. Then the last one is dedication. And that is serving our mission and serving the customer and being able to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I'm not talking about sacrificing your personal life, because I'm not looking for people to sacrifice their personal lives. But I am saying that when you're here at work, that you're willing to give it 110%. And you also be willing to do some things. If we need a late night mission to get something done, well, you're dedicated. You'll put the time in. You'll make it happen. There's been times, and this doesn't happen often, but there's been times when I've worked really, really late with a group of people because we had a deadline we had to meet. And sometimes in work, you just have to do that. And I'm looking for people that say, well, that's not my job, right? Someone that has dedication, they're not going to say, that's not my job. They're going to say, let's do this. And if I'm the boss and I'm willing to do it, I expect you to be willing to do it as well. And you might say, well, you're the boss, you're getting all the reward, but that's not really true. We win and lose together as a team. And when I win, they win. I get the big paycheck, but I'm going to pass that around and share it with others. Like, that's my spirit. I'm a giver. I want to help people. And my team members know that. And we all need to have the same level of dedication. I really expect it. As a leader, I expect everybody to be dedicated. I don't want someone on my team that doesn't have the same dedication that I have. And that needs to be communicated. People need to understand exactly what that means. So I hope that's been helpful for you on your core values. Just take that, think about it. If it doesn't totally agree with you, that's fine. But take the good parts, take the good and keep, and throw out the bad. I'm going to update you now on what's going on with us as a company, and then I'm going to launch out with the discussion question. So we're doing some really good stuff right now, and we got some challenges, but we're hitting some goals too. So one of the things is we're launching a new newsletter. We launched on January 1st. It's called financeandmarkets.com, and it's a financial newsletter. And our goal is to get 1 million subscribers to the newsletter. And I got some good news. I got 3 new writers for the letter and an editor. And I'm trying to communicate our values, and we're trying to create a positive financial newsletter that does more than just give news, but educates and inspires as well. And we're going to tell stories, and we're going to give encouragement. And so I'm very excited about this. And right now we're pretty small. We don't have a lot of subscribers right now, about 1,500, and I'm looking for it to be towards 1 million at the end of the year. So talk about that for a radical growth plan. The other thing is our YouTube channel is starting to take off. My good friend Tim Black is managing that channel, and his content is off the chart. I love Tim to death. He's such a great guy to have on the team, and we're really excited about what's going to happen. We want to get 1 million subscribers as well on our YouTube channel, and we're on our way to do that. We're moving forward. We just hit 20. We're close to 21,000 on there. And as far as the numbers go, haven't got our first month. It's January 30th. Haven't hit those numbers yet. As I get them, I'll keep them up. But we need to grow them to about $1.6 million a month to be a $20 million company. And so I'm going to use that as a benchmark to see where I'm at. This first month is going to be a good indicator as to where we're at and where we need to grow for this year in order to get to that by the end of the next 3 years. As far as challenges go, we're still trying to work on some of our marketing, trying to get organization and systems in place. Tracking has been a big challenge, getting everybody on the same page as far as really focusing on the quality of our emails has been a challenge, but we're meeting each week trying to get in agreement and improve. So that's the business update. I'll try to do a business update at the end of the month every month in addition to the training, just so you guys know where I'm at on the journey. All right, now the discussion question. And I think this is going to be a really good one. I'm excited to see what you guys have to say about this. But do you agree that character is more important than talent? Why or why not? And this might spark a debate. I hope it does. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But please, that question will be on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I'll post it on all three. Whichever platform you prefer, go to the link. It's in the show notes. And respond, and let's get a great conversation started. Well, that's it for today's show. I hope you found this useful. Please share it with a friend or 50 friends. Please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review. I'd love to hear what you have to think about the podcast. All right, well, that's it. Until next time.